Hi, JC. Oh,
Hi, Jenny. How are
we
you
just
today?
finished watching again episode 2 of season 1. And all we can say is,
It was very messed up.
so messed up.
Yeah.
So, what a drag.
Yeah.
We really love you guys. That's the only reason we're doing this,
It's
because
really a pain to watch.
it really is a pain to watch.
Yeah.
So this is tape 1, side B,
Yes.
for 13 Reasons Why. And it's about Jessica Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the episode starts with Clay's parents inviting him to breakfast.
Yes.
Why do you think they're doing that?
Because they are very, very worried about Clay, since he's acting very secretive because of how he's listening to the tapes, and it's kind of distracting him to spend time with his family, and I think that's why his family is so worried about him, and they invited him to breakfast so that they could spend more time together.
And Clay's not having any of it. I mean, he's like, don't interrupt me, I'm listening to my tapes. I mean, he's not saying it, but you can almost read his mind. He wants to be left, and he's having a hard time listening to the tapes altogether. So what do you think about the fact that Hannah says, maybe you were cruel? You didn't think you were being cruel, but too bad. Too late. Too late for who, JC?
Her.
Because everybody else is alive but her.
Yeah.
Do you know, this is why the first time I attempted to watch the show, I just couldn't go beyond episode 1.
Yeah.
Because the whole attitude is, I'm such a victim, and you all screwed me up, and you are all guilty that I died. You are all responsible for my death. You think that's true?
Nope, not at all. She was responsible for her own death. She literally murdered herself. She murdered herself. If somebody else was responsible for her murder, I'm just saying this in a literal sense, they would have to murder her. You know, it's kind of, how can you be responsible for somebody's death if you didn't murder them? I mean,
yeah. Today I was speaking to a lady that I'm counseling.
yeah.
And she was saying how her husband drives her nuts and he makes her do this and he makes her do that. And I said, unless he's pointing a gun to your head, he's not making you do anything. You are allowing him to influence you to do that. And we determine how much power we give other people over our lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing is that people have an influence. I mean, the Bible says that bad company corrupts. Bad company corrupts to the degree that you allow that bad company dictate what you do with your life. Right? Makes sense? Let's talk a little bit about the Jessica, Alex, and Hannah's friendship.
Yes.
What do you want to say about that?
This teacher, she kind of like forced them to be friends, and
In a very funny way.
in a very funny way. It was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up like kind of developing a relationship, you know, in a friendship way. So they started going to a coffee shop together, talking about stuff, and they made it like a daily routine on school days.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up meeting this boy that was also at their school named Alex, but they met in a coffee shop. And then he started to be friends with them. And then it was all like it was like a triplet group, and they all started being friends together.
They were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they had to swear.
Yeah.
It seems like every conversation there needs to be swearing.
Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever. Even when they're comparing clothes or talking about completely peripheral issues, they're just swearing.
Yeah.
left and right. I guess it's necessary. And then something horrible happens, JC.
Oh my goodness.
Something terrible, earth-shattering happens.
Oh my god. What is it?
A boy and a girl that are teenagers and are hanging out together actually develop a crush on each other. Whoa!
I can't take it.
I can't believe it.
Oh my
How
goodness.
devastating.
How unnatural.
I know.
Goodness. What? It's crazy.
So she stops coming, Jessica stops coming supposedly to the coffee shop, and Alex stops coming to the coffee shop, and then one day Hannah sees them holding hands. And it's obvious that they're dating. And you can see Hannah's face. The pain. Oh, the pain.
Just terrible.
This is the part where JC and I had a very hard time continuing to watch the episode, but we said we're going to do it for our friends because they're expecting our analysis of episode 2. Because it is so ridiculous, right? I mean, how about Hannah, if you had approached them and say, hey, I'm so glad you guys are now dating. We can still hang together once in a while, rather than making this big drama about it,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Why would two people dating stop you from being friends with them?
Yeah.
What? That I just can't picture that in a real life scenario.
Yeah.
Kind of weird that that Hannah hated them for dating.
And then the other side of that is that they were having a lot of fun when they weren't dating. And then once they started dating, that something happened, something broke, which brings me back to my point of it is so cool for kids that are still not at an age to establish a serious emotional relationship to go out in groups. Now you and us to go out in groups. Talk about that experience.
It's fun. You get to hang out with other people and it's chill, you know. It's yeah.
Without all the drama of,
Yeah.
I love you, you don't love me, and then you love her, but then she... What a mess.
It is.
It's incredible. And so, you know, things keep going now. Apparently, everybody's freaking out because they know that Clay is listening to the tapes, and then Justin is not going to school. Why is Justin not going to school?
Oh, well, this happens later in the series, but you know, we're just gonna talk about it now so that we can give an actual explanation of why Justin is not going to school. So, basically, Justin's friend,
Bryce.
while Justin's girlfriend was drunk, Bryce decided to rape her. And you know how after you're drunk you like wake up but with not remembering everything and stuff? Well, obviously Jessica does not remember anything that happened, and Justin refuses to tell her the truth, and he denies it, so he stayed home from school because he was freaking out about the whole situation.
Feeling pretty guilty about it.
Yeah, pretty guilty and stressed out when he could just told her the truth, even though there would probably be consequences. You know, still you need to tell the truth. Right.
Yeah, you know that the whole episode and actually the whole season and all those kids trying to hide things from one another and freaking out and doing drugs and doing alcohol because they feel so guilty reminds me of the Psalm where King David, Psalm 51, King David is praying to God, and he says, while I remain quiet about my sin, he says, my bones aged and my spirit was sad. There's something to be said about keeping secrets and just being mean and then hiding it and trying to hide the bad things that you do. Sometimes it's just better to come clean. And we have a bunch of supposedly teenagers that have been less than nice to this girl that is now dead. And I know English, if only I could speak English. But in reality, they're bearing a burden that is not 100% theirs, because there's absolutely nothing criminally negligent that they've done openly. Because in reality, what we have is a girl that is super hypersensitive and a drama queen who is putting a lot more weight on other people's actions that she's putting on her own decisions. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. What do you think about all these guys all of a sudden trying to befriend Clay?
Honestly, I'm so confused about it, but I don't know.
Well, they're not interested in his friendship.
Yeah.
They're freaking out because they think, remember what Jessica told them? Jessica said, move your foot a little. Jessica said, he's not like us. He could say something, so they're kind of trying to take care of Clay, make sure that Clay doesn't say anything that's going to get them all in trouble.
Yeah.
One more time, keeping secrets. Don't keep secrets. Be honest. Everybody in this show is keeping a secret from a parent, from a teacher, from a friend. Let's live transparent lives.
Yeah. It's almost like we should name this whole thing Speak Up, right? Because that's the moral of everything we're talking about, right? That's the answer to all the problems that are in the series, right?
Absolutely. If you're being bullied, speak up. If someone's spreading, you're brilliant. You must be my child.
You always do.
If you're being bullied,
Speak up.
if someone's saying lies about you,
Speak up.
if you're feeling depressed,
Speak up.
if you have a bunch of kids that are threatening you,
Speak up.
1, 2, 3, speak up. Speak up. If it sounds like we don't have a whole lot of things to say about this episode, it's because we don't have a lot of things to say about this episode. It was boring.
It was terribly boring.
Can we say together? It was boring. So we're going to close this analysis and this commentary by saying it was a very boring episode, by telling Hannah nobody is responsible that you died. Oh, and by the way, that whole insecurity, like, Clay, do you think I'll ever be able to be as cute as Jessica Davis? Right? And then Clay doesn't know what to say. And then Hannah is like, you're like all the other boys. What?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, she's a very self-centered, all about me type of person. I sometimes I just want to go into the show and just like beat her up because of how stupid she is sometimes.
But she's dead.
It's just the truth. So it's like, oh, she's dead. Oh, it's so messed up.
Yeah.
She is so annoying.
We don't want to be insensitive. We don't want you guys to believe that we are being insensitive about the topic of suicide or kids that are feeling bullied. But we are trying to create awareness, right?
Yes.
And part to create awareness is to stop acting stupid. And I'm sorry, but this show shows us a Hannah that's constantly thinking and acting stupid. And what we hope is that if we have any young people watching these reviews, these commentaries, which we know we are, because some of you have watched and are making comments, we want to tell you, do not play the victim. Do not let anybody take advantage of you. And if you're sad and you think you can handle the situation, say it again, JC.
Speak up.
That is going to be the morale of this review. Speak up. One more thing. Hannah keeps saying in this episode, it's complicated. It's complicated. It's complicated.
How can friendship be complicated?
No, it isn't really.
If it's complicated, you're not friends with that person.
Uncomplicated.
Yeah.
And you know how you uncomplicate it? By talking it out.
Yep. You just gotta talk to them.
JC saw me making a face earlier today when he was recording a song with his sister. And he said, Mom, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm just enjoying myself watching you too. But if he had not asked the question, he could have thought that there was something wrong with me, something that he saw in my face. Sometimes all it takes to avoid misconceptions and misunderstandings is to speak up, is to talk things through. And so life is only as complicated as we make it to be, right? And JC, I guess my question to you is, if you as a teenager or as a kid want to talk about it, but don't know where to even start, what would you do? What are some tools that we can recommend to any young people watching this that are like, I really want to talk about this, but I don't know where to start, I'm nervous, I'm scared? Any word of advice?
First of all, you need to build up confidence to talk to somebody about these type of situations that are bugging you. So, whatever is bugging you, just go up to that person that is in higher authority than you and tell them what your problem is. That's all you need to do. Don't be nervous about it. That all you have to do is walk up to that person and tell them what is wrong.
Sometimes
It's not like they're gonna ridicule you or insult you on what your problems are.
Yep.
That's just not how it works, and that's what a lot of people's mindsets are when they're in situations like that.
And sometimes all it takes is that first step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what if the person either ridicules them, which is very unlikely to happen, or doesn't pay attention, doesn't show desire to help? What would be the next step?
I've never been in that type of situation before. It's really hard.
Let me help you out. How many adults do you think are in the universe?
Many.
How many adults do you think there are in your life?
Many.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the key. If one person doesn't help you, go to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go like, they didn't want to help me. No, go to the next person.
Exactly.
Keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking until a door is open to you.
And trust me, it's going to happen eventually. If the first person rejects you, and if the second person, it's gonna happen eventually. Somebody is going to help you. There are kind-hearted souls out there that will help you with whatever you're going through. So please speak up and talk to somebody about the situation you're in.
Be persistent, fight for your life. The Bible says to whoever who knocks and keeps on knocking, the door will be open. If you seek and keep on seeking, you will find. If you call and keep on calling, you will receive an answer, but you need to be persistent. Certainly, it's a lot easier to be persistent in seeking help and in speaking up until you find the help you need than to commit suicide. Even if it's hard to do, it's a lot easier than ending your life. Make sense? And Jesse, from now on, we are going to add the National Suicide Hotline phone number to all of these videos so that anybody watching, whether you are suicidal or you know somebody that's suicidal, because we're no expert, we're just a mother and a son watching a show together and speaking about our life experiences as mother and son and also as believers. But we're not experts, we're not psychologists, and so if you are really in a bad situation or you know someone that is an immediate bad situation, we want you to call this number that's going through the screen right now. And I guess we'll come back, JC, to talk about episode 3.
Yes.
Which we are not looking forward to watching, we must be honest.
Yeah. Half of all the episodes are like super boring, and it's really a drag to watch.
Yeah, boring, the whole profanity thing, the whole drama queen kind of a thing. But you know, there's enough. There's at least a few scenes that give us the opportunity to talk about something that's very important and near and dear to many people's hearts.
It gives us many situations that we can discuss to the screen that could be helpful in real life situations for you guys to take into consideration. So, you know, for anybody out there that's watching this, just listen closely to everything we're saying and take all the advice you can get from this video. And I know we're not like absolutely amazing at giving advice, but trust me, we are trying our best to to help you guys out. And if you're in this type of situation, please take into consideration of what we're saying.
Absolutely. And I think our two final thoughts, it's basically summarizing what we've said.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a problem, if you have an issue, you have to
speak up.
Yeah. And nobody can make you do anything unless you let them. So remember, any decision that you make, committing suicide, lying, stealing, being a bully, or doing nothing, ultimately is your decision. And ultimately, you are going to bear the consequences of that decision. Make sense?
Yes.
Any parting words?
Besides from thank you guys for tuning in, and just stay tuned for our next commentaries of the series.
And the best way to stay tuned to what we're going to do and when we post again, which was we're trying to post at least once a week, and we'll try to see if we can accelerate this a little bit more, but at least once a week. And the best way to know is to hit that subscribe button and to hit that bell, because that bell is going to notify you whenever we upload one of these new commentaries, right?
Yeah, and also if we were to do it once a week, that would take 13 weeks. So I mean, yeah, we're trying to accelerate this a little bit. I hope you guys are excited for our next commentaries of the series. And we love you all. God bless you guys. And we will see you guys in the next video.
This is Jenny McIntyre and Simply JC. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Bye.